In this tutorial, I want to show you how you can make and edit a bubble chart in Microsoft Excel. So here we have a bubble chart that shows the number of sales and the dollar of units sold with the size of the bubble reflecting the market share of each of these items. So one thing to note before we actually make the chart is the structure of your data. So as you can see, the first column in our data is in the x-axis, the second column is in the y-axis, and the third column is reflected in the size of the bubble. Make sure that your data is set up in that sort of way before you go ahead and make this chart. So leading this and recreating the chart and showing you how you can do it, first you want to select our data that you want to plot. In this case, it's units sold, number of sales, and the percentage of the market share for each of these items. Now we want to go to the Insert tab and we want to click on Recommended Charts. Here we go from here to click on All Charts, and we want to click on Scatter Chart. Now the bubble chart is kind of a subgroup against the scatter charts, so and you want to click on the one that's second from the right that says bubble right here. We can have a 3D bubble if we really want to, but in this case, you just want a bubble chart. And depending on how your data is set up, you pick the one that makes the most sense for what you're working on. In this case, it's this one right here. So now we have a basic bubble chart, but for this to really communicate what we want it to, we need to edit this. So first, we want to go ahead and add the data labels. To do that, we click on plus and click on chart elements. Now we can add different things like chart axis titles, data labels, error bars, grid lines, trend lines, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but you can kind of edit this as you can a lot of other charts to make this fit what you're trying to do. In this specific case, we're trying to add data labels. Not just any data label, we want the data labels to reflect the item that is in column C right here, right? So to do that, we click on this arrow right here and you click on more options. And from here, we want to add a data label for the item, which is not reflected in this graph right now, so we're going to click on value from cell, and we're going to select the items that we want in our data labels right here. And we don't want the y-axis reflected, we don't want the deleted line shown, and as you can see, now we have data label in each bubble. If your data label is not looking quite right, you can click on data labels and adjust where they show, and even have data call out if you want to. But here we want them over the bubble, so we click on center. Now we want the data label to pop a bit more. So to do that, we can adjust first the fill of the shape. So we click on the shape, we click on right click on the shape, and we click on fill, and we want to click a darker fill color. Now we want to adjust the data label so it's a white font. To do that, we can click on the data label, go to the home tab, and then click on this little font right here, then click on the white. And now, as you can see, the data labels are shown up on the chart more. But we can edit this further too. For example, we can edit the scale of the size of the charts. To do that, we can click on the bubble, right click on it, click on Format Data Series. Now, we can have the bubble size represent either the areas of the bubble or the width of the bubble. For this case, the size makes more sense, and we can scale the bubble to different sizes. So right now, its defaults to 100, but if we have a bunch of bubbles, we can have it be 50, and that might be more accurate with what we're trying to show. But we can also have the data bubbles pop out a lot more and have it be 150, for example. And now you can see the bubbles are large, and even go crazy and call it 300. But in this case, to 125 makes some sense. Now, if we have negative bubbles, we can turn the bubbles too. That's not very relevant in this case. And one thing to note with these bubble charts that you can format them in the similar way they can a lot of other charts. And it's so go to chart design and kind of mess around with the formatting to see what fits best for you, right? So you go and click layout, click the layout that might make the most sense for what we're trying to work on. We can also have these quick formatting options that will, some are more interesting than others. But the thought here is that you can really just kind of get some baseline to your formatting and adjust from there to really have it fit what you need. You can adjust the color too. So we can adjust, for example, this shape fill. and have it be maybe like a purple if you wanted it that. You can get rid of the grid lines by clicking on the grid lines and clicking delete, and clicking on the other grid line, clicking delete. And as you can see now, you don't have grid lines. We can make this pop a bit more by having black text in the titles, and to do that we can kind of click on the title, highlight it, then click on black, and then click on the different legends that have in black. But the thought here is that you can format this in the similar way that you can a lot of other charts, right? To make it really pop the way they want it to. Add access titles, sales, and then have that be black as well too. And then access titles right here, being sold, and have that be black as well. Now, you might have to explore around with different formatting options to see what you want to get it to where you want it to be. But as you can see, you can add a lot of the different components that you would want to have to make your bubble plot communicate what it wants to. Sales by units sold and market share. As you can see, now we have a bubble plot that shows unit sales by unit sold and market share. So yeah, as you can see, Candy has a large percentage of the market, or the magazines in Candy, right? Candy right here has a large percentage of the market share and a lot of units sold. But interestingly enough, though, magazines having a small market share has a large portion of sales. So as reflected in this chart. So I hope you found this to be helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, comment. Thank you for watching. You have a great day.